The committee will come to order. Without objection, all members may have 5 days to submit statements, questions, extraneous materials for the record, subject to the length limitation of the rules. Transnational criminal and terrorist groups in Latin America are a threat to the United States national security. Some of the main players on this battlefield are FARC in Colombia and Shining Path in Peru, and even Hezbollah. The DEA has solid evidence showing stronger ties between FARC and Hezbollah. Hezbollah operatives Ayman Junah smuggled over 90,000 tons of cocaine into America and laundered over $250 million for the cartels. Jamal Yusuf, also Hezbollah agent, agreed to provide military-grade weapons to FARC in exchange for hundreds of kilograms of cocaine. Hezbollah and FARC maintain an operational alliance, much of which occurs under the protection of the Venezuelan regime. Other illicit Hezbollah activity occurs in the dangerous tri-border area. The activities of these groups include drug trafficking, money laundering, human trafficking, and weapons shipments. In Peru, Shining Path is the main terrorist organization. Shining Path recruits children to participate in the drug activity, also forcing them to fight on the front lines. We have seen progress, however, in the fight against Shining Path. U.S. assistance was critical to kicking them out of an area called San Martin. Our assistance helped eradicate cocaine crops, give farmers alternative crops to plant, and take out leaders of Shining Path. This past August, 2 of the group's top leaders were killed. I had the opportunity to go to San Martin last fall. I saw Peruvians working in the heat of the day, pulling up one by one the cocaine crops. They were trying to make their country a safer place. I also visited a farm that stopped growing cocaine. The matriarch was a strong-willed woman whose husband was killed by drug violence. When this happened, she decided she had seen enough, and now she grows some of the best quality chocolate in the world. 10 years ago, even the Peruvian government could not set foot in the region. Today, Shining Path is nowhere to be found, and it's known as the San Martin Miracle, or San Martin Miracle. But the war is not won. Up to 500 members of the Shining Path are holding on in a hard region known as Rayburn. More than 50% of all cocaine produced in Peru comes from this region. There are few roads that go in and out of the rugged terrain, but drug traffickers fly about 6 flights a day out of Rayburn into neighboring countries. President Humala has doubled down on the taking out of Shining Path. For the first time in its history, the government of Peru is now spending its own money on drug eradication. And now President Humala is preparing to go into the room and smoke these bandits out. Now is not the time when we have the Shining Path on the run for the United States to stop its help. We need to help Peru finish this job. In Colombia, the FARC is the main enemy. Thanks in part to over $100 million of U.S. assistance and training, the FARC has never been weaker. FARC went from 20,000 members in 2004 to 7,000 today. But FARC is still a serious threat. No longer able to execute large and high-profile attacks, they are going back to their guerrilla warfare. They have increased small-scale attacks on the military and government workers in the last 2 years. They are getting more involved in the drug trade. Some say they are even morphing into their own criminal organization. The Colombian government is negotiating with FARC as we speak. So far, the two sides have tentatively agreed on what political participation would look like in some of the rural development and land reform. Now, the ball is in FARC's court to see if the talks are going to progress. FARC has to decide if it's willing to give up its weapons and change their criminal behavior. It's not clear if these negotiations are going to work. Any deal is not necessarily a good deal. FARC's senior leaders might enjoy a deal, but the foot soldiers won't benefit much. If that happens, there is a chance that the lower ranks will fracture and form their own separate criminal or terrorist organizations, and the problem may only grow. We've seen progress in both Colombia and Peru, and I want to know from our witnesses what lessons we can learn from this progress and how we can help fight other terrorist organizations. It remains to be seen if this progress can be sustained. We have not yet achieved victory against these two groups, and I look forward to hearing what our witnesses think U.S. policy should be going forward to make sure we can finish the job. I'll now turn over for his opening statement the ranking member, Mr. Sherman from California.